540 ESPN.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. You see, KYJ, things have changed just a little bit since the last time you were here.
I think you should see your oculus. Nothing wrong with my feet. I'm talking about your eyes.
I can even make my ass do tricks. Watch this. You have any idea where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. This is WCW. That's right. Hold on.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the world's #1 professional wrestling broadcast radio show, the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. And ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live with you on Monday, February the 22nd, 2010. Coming to here from the beautiful downtown Milwaukee studios of 540 ESPN. We are live. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside the Score Crusher, Roxy Brown of Ring of Honor Wrestling, the Cos, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. And gentlemen, big news, hot news, right to start off the show. David Hero protesting tonight's show.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Sheamus lost last night at the Elimination Chamber, and Gail Kim lost last night at the Elimination Chamber. So he is protesting right now, and we hope that Dave finds a better way and comes on down and joins us here live on air.
Is it a picket protest? Is he outside?
You need at least 4 people to make a picket protest effective.
All right.
So, but anyways, the show rolls on, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight, gentlemen, as WWE Raw goes off the air. Last night, it was WWE's Elimination Chamber on pay-per-view. Very eventful pay-per-view. And tonight on Raw, as we will review the show in its entirety, WrestleMania clearly took shape, as did the fate of some ECW superstars. We're also going to have a special guest on tonight, the brand-new Ring of Honor champion, Tyler. I keep wanting to call him Taylor, and I don't know why. That's the kind of problem.
Think of the time.
Tyler Black.
Tyler's the runner.
Tyler Black, who defeated Austin Aries recently to become the new Ring of Honor champion, will be our guest, and so much more, including brand new iPhone and iPod app for the Pro Wrestling Report. We're going to be giving away a free version of that to one lucky caller tonight. So, gentlemen, let's first start by talking about last night's WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The WWE Championship was on the line, as was the World Heavyweight Championship. We would see both of those titles change hands, and what I said earlier was a very eventful pay-per-view. We're going to be opening up the phone zone later on, and you can join us and be a part of it. The number 276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. And the conversation has started and will continue at pwrshow.com in the chatmosphere. Gentlemen, last night, Sheamus's reign as WWE Champion comes to an end inside the Elimination Chamber at the hands of Triple H. The new WWE Champion was John Cena, and John Cena was the champion for about a minute.
No. You mean to tell me that John Cena was champion for 5 minutes?
Apparently so, because now Batista, actually the new WWE Champion. This match started off the show last night at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Gentlemen, let's go around the table and talk about this match, where the things of importance were, as I just talked about, Sheamus losing the title, which was a surprise to this man, and also Triple H and John Cena being the final two men in. Meathead, your thoughts?
I called for Triple H in this one. I really thought that Trips was going to come out and win it and then go against, Sheamus, in a rematch, or maybe, somebody else down the road. But definitely saw Sheamus being removed from the belt. Sheamus and the belt broke up. They're no longer dating. It's over. I don't think they're getting back together either. No. It was a clean break.
No, I also thought Triple H was going to win it, so I was wrong on this one. But it wasn't bad.
Well, did Triple H win, though, by pinning the current WWE Champion? Does it set something up with him and Sheamus going into WrestleMania?
What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe it was just you bring up one of the young guys and, give him a nice rub,
send him back down a little bit, and then he brings up another guy to his level, and you're just building for the future crop of top-tier players.
You would love for that to be the way it is, but
I think we can all admit that it would have been a substantial risk for WWE to go into WrestleMania with Sheamus still the champion because he's not proven. Proven in the fans' eyes. Now, WrestleMania is a juggernaut. It's going to get buys. It's going to get people in it, but you don't want to just settle for that. They've got to build big matches, and we'll talk about those matches that were made tonight. But, Frank, the question was, did Triple H actually build something between him and Sheamus? And we'll find out. We didn't find out tonight. I don't know if we even saw either of those two men on Raw tonight. But your thoughts overall, again, Frank, if you gave them before, I'm sorry I missed it, on that matchup, the Raw Elimination Chamber matchup.
It really does be, and it makes sense to not have Sheamus as champion at WrestleMania. However, for the last 3 months, it hasn't been the Sheamus show, but they've really tried to get him to a level.
Right. And
now, if you don't have him involved at some point at WrestleMania, then he's almost done at that point.
Well, you're halfway there. You build Sheamus up for 3 months, and now he's not the champ going into WrestleMania.
Right.
But now you do have another star for a match in WrestleMania.
Exactly.
So Sheamus 4 months ago in WrestleMania would have been like, whatever.
You're crazy.
But now he's a name, and if he's the fourth or third or second match, he's a name now, and it means something.
You're right. He's kind of earned his spot in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And again, to your point, if Sheamus wouldn't have been the champion, Sheamus would have been an opening match if he made WrestleMania.
Right. Now it's the importance of where they want to take him and who they match up with him at WrestleMania. If they put him against Triple H, that kind of makes sense. They can build a feud there for a while. But if they put him up against someone else, first of all, they got to do it like right away because they only got 3 weeks. And then
34 days.
Second, if he doesn't win.
That's 2 lifetimes in WWE time, by the way.
But if he doesn't win at WrestleMania, he's got to do something memorable to kind of keep him for people to care.
Right.
Otherwise, he could be in a lot of trouble.
Right. I agree.
We're going to be live at WrestleMania 26. The Pro Wrestling Report will be broadcasting live from Baby's Steak and Lemonade, run by Armando Estrada out in Phoenix, Arizona, the week of WrestleMania 26. Coverage like you will get no other, exclusively at PWRshow.com. Ring of Honor is going to be running shows out in Phoenix as well. Rashi, are you going to be out there for those Ring of Honor shows?
I believe so.
It's a party in Phoenix.
All right.
I'm there.
I just learned the other day they got casinos out there, so when I disappear for several hours, if not days, that's where I'm probably at. Yes, indeed.
As long as you bring us our 25%.
25?
Yeah, we need a VIG.
That's more than my manager gets.
Each.
Yeah, we need a VIG.
Whatever a VIG is.
It's gambling.
Okay.
Batista. Vince McMahon comes out and says that John Cena will congratulates him, rather, on moving on to WrestleMania, but says he must defend that WWE Championship right now and must do so against Batista. So now Batista, the new WWE Champion, going into WrestleMania into what looks like a match between he and John Cena. A bit of a swerve similar to the swerve we got last year with Edge winning, I believe, the WWE Championship at the Elimination Chamber, then known as No Way Out. Mita, your thoughts on Batista, who is now clearly working the bad side of things as WWE Champion?
As a character, Batista actually has some interest level in him. I mean, what has he done over the last month on SmackDown? Come out for matches? Nah, don't want to wrestle. He's said nothing and become more relevant. Batista also is doing less in the ring, which makes him look stronger because we've seen Batista try to work hard in the ring and make it look worse.
I liked it. I liked it last night because I was surprised by it. I've said it for many years. I like being surprised watching a pay-per-view, and that did it for me because I was upset when John Cena won. Like, what are they doing, for crying out loud?
It was a letdown.
But have Batista come out, kind of squash him there for that first 2.5 minutes. I liked it because it was a surprise to me. And now it's after what we saw tonight on Raw, it's really on.
And Damian, by the way, here in the chat atmosphere, it's Fort McDowell Casino. Fort McDowell Casino.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that.
Yeah. That
they
would
have
be
a players club because
6TNA brought you that.
I don't play unless I'm getting a room for $1,000 a night.
I got a players club. It's all good.
Oh, well.
We're partying with
Hey,
Rashi.
a casino, being in Phoenix, being at Baby Steak and Lemonade's WrestleMania, and being a part of Rashi's Players Club.
Woo!
I mean, not come home. Rashi, Batista. What you know of Batista the Worker?
Yes.
As WWE champion, it's been quite some time since he's been champion. Your thoughts on him working all the way into WrestleMania with the gold?
I think Batista's a big punk, bully, coward, everything that he should have been doing the last few years. He reinvented himself. I love it. I love it. Less is more, and he's doing a lot less, and I love every second of it. His career, he'll add 2 years to his life
easily
in the
by
business, doing less and getting more. I mean, we just watched him cower away from Cena through the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time Batista's done that to anybody?
Mm-hmm.
But it gets heat, and I love it.
I think it's a much better character. I have said many times on these programs that I call Batista Bortista, I am loving him as a heel.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but the business, everybody wants to be tough or super good guy, but nobody wants to be a coward. And I don't understand why not. It's so much fun, and he's going to love
Frank
it.
knows all about that.
Exactly. And Rashi is sitting here just salivating talking about it.
Well, because, I'd love to be one of those, but I'm just this big macho tough guy. I can't help it.
I can't help it. I'm a big tough guy. I beat people up.
Yeah, he's a teddy bear.
Yeah.
Hey.
Batista, the new WWE champion. There was another World Championship matchup, and that was on the SmackDown side of things as The Undertaker walked in the World Heavyweight Champion, but walked out no longer the champion, and with second or third degree burns over parts of his body. Chris Jericho, the new World Heavyweight Champion, and I tell you what, guys, once this happened, I said, I just look very forward now to the next month of TV and Jericho telling us how great he is. That is good stuff.
I have to call you on that, though, because you have said that for WrestleMania, you weren't buying Edge Jericho as a main event.
I totally said that on 2 weeks ago on primetime. I still don't necessarily buy it as a main event at WrestleMania.
But you're right. You're 100%.
But it's being sold to me fairly effectively right now.
You're right. And you're 100% right on the fact that I am ready to hear Jericho tell us how great he is, how he is the best at what he does, which, again, is such a loaded statement. I love that because
what does he do?
I'm the best at what I do because I'm the only one that does what I do. It doesn't mean anything. So, I'm excited.
I love Kelly Holcomb. I know he will start.
I'm the best at doing that, whatever that means.
It's like almost 8 years old.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Kaz, the new World Heavyweight Champion is Chris Jericho. Your thoughts on that Elimination Chamber matchup from the SmackDown side of things?
Wasn't too bad. It was kind of funny watching Jericho go back into his chamber scared a couple times.
Cowering.
He was, but as the match started, and normally I'm not right on these things, but where I kept saying Shawn Michaels has to come out. He has to come out. It's going to happen at some point, and he does, and now it sets it up. And obviously, if you watched Raw tonight, you got the acceptance and what I thought was an amazing 5 or 6 minutes there. So it was a good match last night. I liked it.
It was good to see Jericho win. I think that it was a foregone conclusion that HBK and Taker would have a match at WrestleMania, thus meaning, in theory, The Undertaker would have to drop the title, and he did. And I don't think anyone else in that match really could have been as effective with it as Jericho will be. And it gives more significance, gives a lot more significance to the match between he and Edge at WrestleMania 26. The conversation continues in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. This is the #1 pro wrestling radio program, the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Follow 540 ESPN on Twitter. That's twitter.com/ESPN Milwaukee.
Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live Monday night. The Monday Night Delight. Can we go with that?
All right.
Monday, February 22nd, 2010. WWE SmackDown tomorrow night at the Bradley Center here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tickets are still available. Great seats still available.
Did you call it the BC?
That's what it's called.
That's what it's
really?
called.
It's called the Bradley Center.
Had some
The
great.
BC.
I had some great catering there yesterday. Contact Ticketmaster for tickets. It's going to be a good show. WWE SmackDown and whatever they're going to be doing with NXT will presumably happen tomorrow at the Bradley Center. Meathead, in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com, some people had some things to say. Tell us about it.
Ms. Fanatic says, I think Jericho will lose the title to Edge at WrestleMania, and Edge can be superface for a while. I don't know if that's a new position that they've created, but will be superface for a while. Also, you've got X'd Out. Says he can't wait to see CM Punk versus Danielson. Well, it's Daniel Bryan now, but we know what he's talking about. Former Ring of Honor star Bryan Danielson, now Daniel Bryan.
Well, does he have to make it through the next competition
NXT?
to see this happen?
You would think that the Divas would have had to win the Diva Search contest to get jobs
Well,
with WWE.
I want to, later on in the program, we're going to get Rashi Brown's perspective on that, because, Rashi, you worked with Bryan Danielson.
Daniel Bryan.
Now I'm confused by his name because they've dyslexized it.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear your perspective on his decision to go to WWE and now what they're doing with him. But before we get to that, let's finish talking about WWE Elimination Chamber last night on pay-per-view. On the SmackDown side of things, new World Heavyweight Champion is Chris Jericho because he's the best at what he does, whatever that may be. And the new WWE Champion is Batista. But there were two other championship matchups on that card. One was for the Intercontinental Championship, and that was Drew McIntyre versus the Big Red Machine, Kane. Kaz, your thoughts on this matchup?
That was the Get Your Drink match.
And I did.
And I like Kane. Obviously, the guy it's hard to match up wrestlers with him. It seems like every pay-per-view he's there. But it was an average match for what it was. The crowd really wasn't into it. And I really didn't pay much attention to it, I got to be honest.
What is your overall impression of Drew McIntyre? Keep in mind, you may be hanging out with him tomorrow night.
I think Drew's good.
He's trying to set you up.
Hey, I'm just putting it all out there. Full disclosure from now on.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
Meathead, the Intercontinental Championship, a match made somewhat rapidly on SmackDown over the course of the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It was Drew McIntyre versus Kane. Your thoughts on that matchup?
The match was what it was. It was about, I believe, a 10-minute match, 10-minute match, roughly. They really got a lot invested in Drew McIntyre. I mean, because he came out with a new video package before he slowly sauntered.
No. It's a competition between he and Randy Orton. Who can have the slowest entrance?
He slowly sauntered down to the ring. Slowly, methodically sauntered down to the ring. He's not given me anything to either hate or like him yet. He's just kind of
still new.
And I know you listen, and it's okay. I don't know you as a person, but I'm telling you, your gimmick right now, nothing for me.
Drew McIntyre retains the Intercontinental Championship in that matchup, which at the end of the day was a filler. Wasn't horrible, but it was just filler for what it was.
You're right. I didn't hate it.
The other championship matchup we're going to talk about was a match made that night for the United States Championship as MVP challenged the current U.S. champion, The Miz, who's awesome. Yeah, I just love doing that. Miz Marquez united behind The Miz last night as he retained the United States Championship against Montel Vontavious Porter. Meathead, your thoughts?
You know what? They wrestled a good match. I'm not a Miz Marquez by any stretch of the means.
You're not invited into the club.
Thanks.
It's elite.
Trust me, that's a club that I'm not partying in. It's entertaining. Miz is entertaining me. That's really all I got to say. MVP, Frank and I, we talked before we went on the air tonight. There's something about MVP that he should be higher up doing more things, bigger things than he's doing right now. I just don't know what's missing with him. Because, I mean, you want to get behind this guy and, kind of root for him and cheer for him, but there's something missing with him.
Well, they thought maybe having him with Mark Henry might add something to it. I don't know if
I don't know if that did. I think that was just something for them to do. Honestly, I think it's filler, something to do.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you. I think MVP's got a lot of potential. It's not there yet.
That was WWE Elimination Chamber last night on pay-per-view. Overall, Meathead, was it worth $44.95 from WWE?
Can I get a buzzer? No. Not worth it. Thank you. Not worth $44.95. If you're asking me to put a dollar price on it,
sure.
$29.95 tops.
Kaz, your thoughts?
No. I hope the buy rates are low for this so they can kind of think this over.
The gimmick pay-per-views, aside from bragging rights, have done very well, and we'll talk about it when we get to the hot news segment. Some new pay-per-view names released by WWE in coming up in the next few months.
It's not worth the money.
Rossi Brown, your thoughts on this situation of Randy Orton's ring entrance and Drew McIntyre's ring entrance? We joked about it earlier, but is it effective? Is it effective to be so methodical and slow going to the ring? Obviously, it fits the character of Randy Orton.
Are. Yeah, I mean,
Orton depends how long the ring is, too.
Well, it's Orton's thing, and he has heat, and people hate him already. So with him taking his time, it's like, get in the ring already, but it's great. Some people do it to try to get heat, and it doesn't work. Or, the Undertaker's entrance is forever, but it's the greatest thing
Last
ever.
night it was the quickest, I think, since it was Mean Mark Callis.
But I'd rather watch that than the show. I mean,
it's amazing.
It is amazing. So there's no complaint there, and he's a good guy. But like Larry Zbyszko, the way he'd stall or take forever to get in the ring, those people would want to just
kill him.
They wouldn't care if they went to jail, if they could just hit him with something.
That's when the old lady's throwing the knife out.
Exactly. I was going to say that's when the old lady's throwing the purses at him.
So if you're not getting that kind of heat, or Randy Orton or The Undertaker, then you're kind of wasting time.
As only Rossi Brown can put it, I want to make sure all of you remember that we are on Twitter. Our Twitter name is PWR Show, and Matt Presto on Twitter just said this: Evan Bourne better qualify for Money in the Bank. We need a spot monkey who will take some nasty bumps.
You hesitated on that. Say it again.
Evan Bourne better qualify for Money in the Bank. We need a spot monkey who will take some nasty bumps. The man sells like a god. That Matt Presto, who is following us on Twitter, our Twitter name,
Come
PWR
on,
Show.
Matt. You're celebrating the fact that you want somebody to be in there like a rag doll? He is a human being, man.
That's the worker talking here on the program.
And he's not a spot monkey. I mean, he has a certain amount of time to do what he can do, so, he's just working within the system he's held to. If you ever see any of his other stuff in the independents, you'd know he's just not a spot monkey. He's a great wrestler, athlete, performer, person, everything.
And a good guy, too. I did call him out on those boots he's wearing now, and we'll talk about that later, I guess. Didn't go over so well. When we come back, though, it's the brand-new Ring of Honor champion, Tyler Black, exclusively here on the Pro Wrestling Report, where the conversation continues in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and at ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live Monday night, February 22nd, 2010. Meathead, the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. Lots of people discussing what's happening on this show and what's happening in the wrestling world. Why don't you share with us some of those comments?
Username Awesome Miz said Benjamin is the spot monkey. Apparently that's still the conversation. It's still in there.
It is not.
Come on, man.
No. They're talking about spot guys. And then working our way to Tyler.
But that had another tone to it, man.
That's the way you took it.
Yeah, I know.
That's not the way I gave it.
I know.
Nick Malone, username Nick Malone, says Tyler should have won the belt in December of 2008, so at least we've got him with the belt. Tyler Black, Ring of Honor, new Ring of Honor champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, our guest right now is the brand new Ring of Honor champion, Tyler Black. Tyler, welcome. The Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hello, how are you guys?
We're great. Excellent having you on, and congratulations on your recent win over Austin Aries to become the Ring of Honor World Champion for the first time in your career. Tell us a little bit about that match, which happened in New York a couple of weeks ago, and how it feels to be the World Champion of Ring of Honor.
Oh, man, you know what? It was a big match for me. Big night and a big moment. Since I was a kid, 16 years old, I always dreamed about being Ring of Honor World Champion. So capturing that belt in New York City in front of 1,000 people is a really special moment for me. And being able to celebrate with all the guys and the company and people that I looked up to and I watched and admired when I was a kid was just it was quite surreal, and I don't know if I've come down from it yet. It's been a really exciting and good week for me since then.
Well, Tyler, I've seen you at This Is Skull Crusher.
You might know him.
Yeah.
Maybe. He's been around the block once or twice.
I've seen you since your first couple weeks in the business. I think you were trained by Danny Daniels?
Correct, yeah.
So you're an AEW, Mid-American. I saw you and Merrick Brave. You've gone up the ladder, man. But
yeah.
You are, like, the things you put your body through night in and night out, I couldn't do that as much as you do. What do you do to prepare your body for a match? I mean,
especially given that recent injury to your neck.
Exactly.
Yeah, when I was younger, I took a lot of stupid bumps. In addition to being a backyard wrestler when I was a teenager, when I first got into the business, I was like a lot of guys and was just really reckless and did whatever I could to try to make a name for myself, working for Ian Rotten out of IWA Mid-South and, working for promoters like Carmine up at Mid-American and Danny at AEW. I just wanted people to notice me and try to make a name for myself. So I took a lot of dumb risks, and it took its toll. And like you said, I had the neck surgery back in September. But since then, and even leading up to that point, like in the last year or so, I've really made a conscious effort to try to train harder and to keep myself a little bit leaner, and and to take less bumps. I mean, I guess that's all our wish, but I've really been conscious about it, and then I tried to do my best. And I've taken the advice of guys who I ignored for so long, and tried to really keep my body in the best shape I can.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Our guest right now is current Ring of Honor champion Tyler Black. Tyler, before you were able to defeat Austin Aries to become the new Ring of Honor champion, back in December you went 60 minutes with Austin to a draw in a matchup. And we just talked about some of the injuries and keeping your body in shape. It is rare in this business now to see a wrestling match go that long and even end in a draw. ROH is truly the only organization that's willing to put that kind of wrestling out there. And just how grueling is it to spend an hour in a ring with a guy like Austin Aries?
Oh, man. It's pretty brutal, spend any amount of time in a ring with Austin Aries. but no, 60 minutes with anybody is a long time to be in a ring, and it's a long time to be out there and breathing hard and getting the crap kicked out of you. So it was difficult. I had been through a 53-minute match with Nigel McGuinness prior to that, so I kind of had experience wrestling longer matches. But 60 minutes was a good challenge. It was something that I was really, excited to be a part of, and hopefully we'll get the opportunity to do that again in the future.
You are also a two-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, and as you alluded to earlier, we first got to see you at a lot of the Mid-American wrestling shows here in the southeastern Wisconsin area back in the early days of your career, and now the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. What's next? What do you see happening for Tyler Black over the course of the next few years as you evolve in your professional wrestling career?
I've come a long way since wrestling in that little bar down in Milwaukee. And I remember it well,
What was the location? What was the venue? I forget the name.
Knights of Columbus?
Knights of Columbus.
No, the Sports Connection.
Yeah.
That's it, Sports Connection, man. We wrestled
Sports Connection 2.
Yeah.
they added a bathroom.
Wait, Tyler, you didn't do any of the shows at Kelly's, the big, huge volleyball court where there was room to move?
He was still in high school or middle school or something.
Oh, man, yeah, I just remember the Sports Connection being upstairs. I remember, I wrestled that 20-minute draw with Merrick Brave my first night there.
Yep, I remember, man. I remember.
From there to 60 minutes with Aries, it's crazy how, things happen so fast. It literally feels like yesterday just being up there and, wrestling in front of those fans. But as far as the next couple of years, I don't know, man. Ring of Honor is really on the rise, and it's a great place for me, and I'm really happy to be, kind of the guy with the torch there to carry that company into the next generation of great pro wrestling. But, I'm keeping my options open also. My contract with the company expires at the end of September, the beginning of September, and who knows what could happen from there. I haven't had any contact from any in the other two companies. But I just hope to keep moving up the ladder and keep, wrestling in front of more and more fans. And I hope that's with Ring of Honor. I really see a lot of potential in the company for growth. But if it's not, then it'll be somewhere else, and I'm going to keep on keeping on no matter what.
And Ring of Honor can be seen each Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on HDNet. Usually, on average, you get 2 excellent wrestling matchups in that 1-hour time frame with no commercials, by the way. That's 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Ring of Honor on HDNet.
Is there a wrestler or wrestlers that in Ring of Honor, and obviously there's a lot of talent there, that you would like to get in the ring with that you haven't yet?
Oh, man, me and Crush haven't been in the ring in quite a long time.
Yeah,
brother.
It's been about 2 or 3 years.
Are we making a match? Are we making a match right here, right now? Well, I can call Jim Cornette and make it happen.
I don't know if it's up to us, but I would. Anybody in the locker room's awesome to work with. So it's a great atmosphere, and everyone's a competitor, and we all work super hard. So it's a blast no matter what.
On that note, to wrap it up, the competition level. Just explain the competition level in the locker room. Everybody wants to do good. It's like 30 basketball games, and everybody wants to have the highest score. It's a cool atmosphere,
Yep.
Yeah, it is, man. It's awesome. It's the best locker room that I've ever been in, just because there are so many guys. It's like an all-star, of independent wrestling. It's like or even wrestling around the world when you consider, the guys that are coming in from everywhere. It's just like everyone's competing at such a high level, pushing each other to do better and better and better and better. And so that's really exciting, and that's why you get, the great matches that you see, whether it be on HGNet or on DVD.
And Ring of Honor is also going to be doing some shows out in Phoenix for WrestleMania 26. You can go to ROHWrestling.com to get all the information on that. Tyler, thank you so much for joining us here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Congratulations on becoming the new Ring of Honor champion as well. And, again, that's Monday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on HDNet. Check your local listings to see where that channel is on your lineup. Tyler, thanks a lot for coming on. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Vintage Fist. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live Monday, February 22nd, 2010. ROH Champion Tyler Black was just our guest. A very insightful conversation with Tyler from Ring of Honor. And Rossi, I think a match was almost made there.
Yeah, he's the champ for now.
I set you up.
Look, I don't need you to set me up.
He is in Frank's face, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. In Frank's face.
Let the man be champ for more than a week, okay?
I don't know if Rossi knows.
You got to take your chances, man.
I'm a nice guy.
I don't know if Rossi knows about your no bump clause, Frank, so you better watch out. We're going to be answering the phone zone in just a few minutes here on the Pro Wrestling Report. The number locally, 276-ESPN, or all over the world at 1-800-990-ESPN. A little shout-out in order to Christina and Trent Turner, who are listening to us down in Spring Grove, Illinois right now.
Shout out.
We go far. Well, it's down there,
Way down there.
Isn't there Champaign?
Urbana.
Yeah.
But let's talk about WWE Raw that was on tonight on the USA Network. Lots of WrestleMania matches made for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Captain Obvious over here.
The guest hosts were Jewel and Ty Murray, and Ty Murray actually wasn't bad. I couldn't have picked him out of a crowd of two before tonight, but he really wasn't that bad.
But will you pick him out of a crowd afterwards? Either?
I can now, as long as he's wearing the hat and the belt buckle.
Out of a crowd?
No.
Again, it's about that club.
Hey,
I'm gay.
Chris Jericho starts off the show in what I thought was a very short, deliberate, and effective promo with Edge, where Edge announced that he would be going up against Chris Jericho for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 26. Rashi, your thoughts on that match, Edge-Jericho at WrestleMania?
I think it'd be pretty cool. I'm trying to think, have they ever wrestled each other or feuded?
Oh, yeah.
They have?
I'm not sure.
Programmed?
It's been a while.
Not sure how many feuds they've been in, but I know they're...
Are you talking about a program or maybe a one-off?
Just a program.
Or a one-off, like where they have some
No,
heat
a program.
For a show. I don't think they have, unless it was during the time when Christian and Jericho were running together as
way
tag
back.
champs.
Yeah, So it's something different, and I think it'd be cool. I mean, Edge is obviously revitalized. You know, when you go home and you sit and you can't wrestle, it burns, man.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you're ready to go. So it's gonna be good. It has to be good.
Kaz?
Yeah, I like it. I love the opening segment.
Short and sweet.
It was perfect. And Jericho pulled it off, and Edge made it even better. It should be an outstanding match. They've got a little while to build this up now. Good 4 weeks, but should be outstanding.
Twitter user by the name of Rough Rider 84MS says Rashi versus Tyler would be a good match.
Absolutely. Let's
me
make it happen.
versus anybody would be a good match. But I prefer you to match me with the women.
Well, I think they're referring to a professional wrestling contest.
Well, you have to specify, okay?
Meathead Jericho versus Edge at WrestleMania. Your thoughts on the segment tonight where that match was made?
Well, the segment was, classic Jericho coming out and goes, I'm going to WrestleMania. I mean, he's excited. I am the best at what I do, and so forth and so forth. It's the same Jericho, but it's exciting Jericho all at the same time, because now when he's bragging, he gets to brag about something that actually happened. Like when he was the tag team champ when Big Show. They could brag about being the tag team champs.
Yep.
So you don't buy his bragging as much when he doesn't have something to brag about, but when he's got it, he's got it. And then Edge came out, short, sweet, boom, hit it. This is what I'm doing.
I really like Jericho saying repeatedly, I am the world heavyweight champion. I am the world heavyweight champion.
Well,
For the 6th time.
There is only one world. That's why it was
emphasized, right.
World.
And according to his Twitter as well, he goes, that one and happened for him in TNA. He said that. I guess that one and happened for me in TNA, huh?
Well, is that a world title?
No. It's the TNA title. You're right. It's the heavyweight championship.
So he's right.
Right. He's got actually, and we've argued this on Primetime when we've had a special episode. We've argued what was more important, the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. And I've said forever, it's the World Heavyweight Championship.
WWE, you're the best in the
company.
company.
The company. The world is everything, and
but
it has the longest lineage.
Within WWE, the most important title is clearly the WWE Championship.
True, but they're both run by the same person, so
right.
Yeah.
And some of the arguments against it being that David Arquette was World Heavyweight Champion.
Does it?
It's recognized
just because it was a version of that belt doesn't mean
it was the
dang thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
That was another company. They erased that history, blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
That was WCW, which, by the way, in case you don't recall, is a defunct wrestling organization that went out of business in 2001 and was purchased by World Wrestling Entertainment.
It's your quota for the year on that one.
John Cena wants a rematch, and he wants it right now. Vince McMahon comes out and explains the reasoning for his alliance with Batista and why he gave him that shot at the WWE Championship last night at the Elimination Chamber, and saying there will be no title defense until Mania for Batista. We then saw Cena get a match with Batista in which, if he won, he would get an opportunity, potentially, at WrestleMania against Batista. I like where this is going. I can't say I'm very intrigued by a matchup between Batista and John Cena again, but I like the story behind it because there's so many different variables. There's the McMahon thing, there's the Brett thing, there's the Batista-Cena thing, obviously, and some have talked, including me, about it potentially being a tag match at Mania, with Cena teaming up with Bret Hart going up against Vince McMahon and Batista. But I thought this was well done, aside from John Cena's overly robotic delivery of everything he does lately. Rashi, your thoughts?
I think this is a cool spin-off of another angle with Bret and Vince. I'm not excited to see them wrestle, but I like the angle. And I like the way Batista is portraying himself now. Raw earlier today, they made what's his name, Cena, look as if whatever Batista did to him had killed him, but he got back up and he crawled another inch, and he couldn't finish him off. And I love that stuff. That's
leaving that little piece left, that little piece left
like
for the next week.
You can beat me down, but I'm going to keep coming back. And it's great. It's heel babyface 101.
Yeah, it worked at the end. At the beginning, it kind of didn't, because at first Cena.
You're talking about Raw?
Yeah, at the beginning, because Cena's like, I want a rematch. I want it now. He doesn't get it. but then he kind of gets it in a way as he goes against Batista, and his look was different than 2 minutes prior, so it's kind of goofy. But the ending was good, and it's a build-up, and I'm with you, Rashi. I like this. It's almost like a new Batista, if you want to call it that.
A better Batista.
And we've
new
talked
and improved.
We talked about it, actually, just in this first hour here about how I love what Batista's done over the last month, say 2 months, over on SmackDown. And this is a heel evolution, if you will, from when him and Ray had the issues, and basically Batista says, I'm going to destroy you. And that was, and boom, the end of Batista the face, or Bortista, as Damien's called him, and Botchtista, as, many in the IWC have called him. And now Batista, having been the guy that killed off the pyro, he goes to a dark with a silhouette, just a spotlight on him. And now it's cocky, arrogant, classic heel. I don't want to say that word, but, Batista.
Yep. Legacy seems to be just exploding at every chance it gets as Randy Orton DDTing Cody Rhodes and then RKOing Ted DiBiase Jr. outside the ring. I think we're solidly on our way to not just a match next week on Raw between Orton and DiBiase, but a matchup at WrestleMania. And, gentlemen, I got to say, I'm actually intrigued by this one. Meathead, your thoughts on the overall care that fans have over Legacy and whether or not they actually break up?
Well, it's an implosion, not an explosion, because it's happening inside the group. And I really think that this is leading towards a triple threat at WrestleMania. The three of them.
Kaz, your thought?
I took the words right out of my mouth.
Triple threat, really?
Why not? And then finally end it. If they're going to tease it now for the last 2 months, at least let it happen at WrestleMania and put these guys on their, well, Randy Orton's fine as a singles wrestler, but give these two guys a chance to see what they could do.
On their next journey.
That's right.
And it's a classic setup, too, because, again, you don't go into a match where you have two faces and one heel.
There has to be, yeah, you're right. I mean, there has to be either a three-way or a fourth person will interject himself in the next few weeks, and you don't see that happening.
Not with Randy.
Right.
Not with Randy the way he's been.
Logically, unless it's a handicap, but it's...
Right. No, and again, classic setup because you have the one face and the two heels.
New face.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention that Evan Bourne ultimately ended up getting a pinfall victory over Cody Rhodes.
I can't believe that. You saying that, though.
How quick did that happen?
Yeah.
It was about 3 weeks ago that Cody got the pin on Evan. Let's not forget.
No, I meant the discussion of Star Power and Evan and Cody, that discussion we had, and wow.
You're not forgetting that Cody pinned Evan, are you?
I didn't even know he did.
Oh, he did.
It didn't count. I didn't see it.
Also, because no one
Your
cares now
went out,
because it's actually gone. Yeah.
Yes, Evan got the pin after some shenanigans, of course, on Cody. I still think Cody's a bigger star than Evan Bourne, but David Hero did ask me, as it pertains to that situation, he said, so, is Cody the biggest star in Legacy? I said, no, he's the weakest star. Not the weakest, but he's the least star in Legacy.
Okay, so then you're going to say DiBiase is more of a star than
Cody?
Yeah.
No.
Randy Orton?
No.
Evan?
Yes.
DiBiase is clearly more of a star than Evan.
Okay, man.
It's the mind of Nelson.
I just want to let you know.
Twisted, I am demented. I admit that, and I love it.
I just want to let you know. Let's just move on.
Okay, we'll move on.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, comes out and goes face-to-face with the Dead Man, The Undertaker, and the match is made for WrestleMania with a twist. It's HBK Taker 2, and if The Undertaker wins, Shawn Michaels must hang up the boots and retire forever. Can the second matchup, can the rematch at WrestleMania 26 live up to what was determined to be the match of the year in 2009 Pro Wrestling Report honors? Can it do it, Rashi?
Man, I would want to try to top something that it's like, man, again? But they're two creative people, so I'm sure they will top it.
Kaz?
Yeah, I loved it. I love this build-up. Shawn Michaels is the only guy that can do this. He can take a storyline and make you care so much. And I was intrigued, and I know there's probably a lot of people are like, I'm stupid, I don't want to watch it again. Those two guys in the ring, it's something else. And maybe just because of the years I've watched wrestling, how it works, Shawn Michaels is the only guy who can do it.
Meathead, quickly.
Well, Shawn, it's been nice knowing you.
Wendy Richter inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight, also announced on Raw. When we get to the hot news segment, we've got another inductee into the Hall of Fame. You're going to hear it first before anywhere else. This is the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks. You see it, KYJ. Things have changed just a little bit since the last time you were here.
I think you should see your oculus. Nothing wrong with my feet. I'm talking about your eyes.
I can even make my ass do tricks. Watch this. You have any idea where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. This is WCW. That's right. Hold on.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the award-winning Professional Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. It's one of the favorite parts of the program. Time to enter the phone zone, and you can join us live on the PWR phone lines here on 540 ESPN by calling us locally at 276-3776 or all over the world at 1-800-990-3776. Again, that's 1-800-990-3776. The fifth caller tonight gets a special code to download the PWR iTunes app at no charge. Fifth caller tonight as we are here in the phone zone. Let's start now by talking to Gilberto from Florida on line 1. Gilberto, you're live.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
What's up?
You know, I thought Raw was pretty good tonight. They did their job. They're getting us ready for WrestleMania. And honestly, a couple of my favorite segments, you know, I don't know what's funnier, Big Show falling off a mechanical bull or Scott Steiner on a pogo stick.
Scott Steiner on a pogo stick.
Yeah.
By far. And by the way, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
By far. I'm glad you brought that up, Gilberto. That could be one of the funniest moments in the last 10 years in professional wrestling.
You know, I like what they're doing with Shawn and Undertaker. I knew, obviously, that they were going to wrestle at WrestleMania again, but I like what they're doing because Shawn, over the last 2.5 years, he's been playing this whole retirement thing a lot. You know, in 2008 where Jericho accidentally punched his wife, that whole thing. You know, and but Undertaker, I think this match, Shawn, I know he's probably going to be taking time off. Both of them are probably going to be taking time off, and it's probably going to be another great match. You know, I like what they're doing with Batista and John Cena. You know, I agree with you guys. I'm not really excited to see them wrestle, but I like the story that's behind it. And other than that, you know, two guys you got to forget about, Triple H and Sheamus. None of them mentioned tonight. I know they said that they were hurt or whatever.
Nowhere to be seen.
I know, but I think probably what's going to happen, Sheamus is probably going to come out and probably challenge Triple H at WrestleMania. Probably, because Triple H is probably the one guy that can carry him to help him with his first WrestleMania match.
Yep,
so,
you're right.
So that's probably going to most likely happen. And with TNA, real quick, I'm liking what they're doing, man. I'm watching Impact every week. I'm enjoying. I can't wait for March 8th. It's going to be great. I was kind of made me laugh when Abyss and Hogan, that segment that they did. But it
was a unique segment. We're going to talk about TNA Impact later on. That segment, I'm still not sure what to think about it.
Yeah. You know, he keeps on the whole with the ring gives you the power. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it's because Abyss choked me out a couple of months ago. Gilberto from Florida, thank you very much for calling in. Let's go stay in Florida and go down to Orlando and talk to Glenn. Wants to talk about the Shawn Michaels Undertaker situation. Glenn, you're live.
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Excellent.
Good.
I want everyone's personal opinion.
How about public opinion?
Yeah, fine. But will this year's build-up be better than last year's? Will the match be better than last year's?
You're talking about Taker, Shawn Michaels?
Taker and Michaels. The build-up will be better, and the match will be better. Now, one thing I do want to point out is I can't think of one thing that they could do this year that they didn't do last year. So how could it be different?
You got two of the best workers in the history of the business in the ring.
You know what? That's the art of being a professional wrestler. You won't see the same thing twice.
I think the build-up overall has been unique compared to last year. It has been intriguing going into WrestleMania. I always think, though, I'm not sure if there was a better build-up for a Taker match at Mania than when he wrestled Kane for the first time at WrestleMania 14. You think of that promo that they cut when the match was actually made. I think it was the week before Mania in Cleveland, Ohio. The Undertaker walking through successfully that time. The fire, the flames, saying, I walked through hell to face you, Kane, just meant so much. This is close to that, not quite as far, but close to that. I'm intrigued by what the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels can do at WrestleMania 25, but there ain't a category, there's not a show or a site that did a match of the year where this match was not clearly the winner. They Reaganed this thing in 80 over any other contestant in the category of match of the year. You ask anybody, match of the year last year essentially was HBK Taker at WrestleMania 25.
What's the Reagan reference?
Reagan dominated Carter in 80.
Oh, I thought you meant that they rigged it. And when you said Reagan, I apologize.
No. I said this before, I think, just for break. Shawn Michaels, to me, that video package they put together when he won the award and it started there, to me, he's the only guy that can pull something like this off as far as the build-up to it. There's not a lot of wrestlers, and it's his history that's going to make that happen. And with Taker's history also. And, Ross, you're correct. There will be some new things. Of course, you're going to see a super kick, and, of course, you're going to see the finishing maneuvers, but they will add new elements to it. But they're just going to give you that little doubt that Michaels can win this thing. Will it happen? I don't think so. But they want to give you that doubt that, hey, if anyone's going to do it in the company, it would be him.
And they put that out there last year, actually. That doubt was there. I mean, you felt, there's a chance. More so than anybody else, in my opinion, I thought HBK could be the guy. Even though, 4 years ago, I thought if there was going to be a guy at all ever, the Legend Killer gimmick would have been the one to defeat The Undertaker.
Think about this. It's Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Is it that because it's a streak just there? Because it's not like he had a streak of winning the title there every year or something.
He doesn't lose on the biggest show.
It took him 11 years to figure out to promote that, though.
It's like a storyline within a storyline,
right. So it'll be interesting, but it would be ruthless for Vince to go, hey, Undertaker, why don't you lose this one?
He'd say no. Not? He wouldn't be in the match.
You can get out of retirement a lot easier than you can get out of losing that match if you're the Undertaker.
Well, we'll see what kind of pull he has to get that done.
But why do you think he cares?
Taker or HBK?
Taker. His job.
Yeah.
He's a professional.
And that's the thing everybody loves about Taker, that he is a professional.
He would do
whatever is written shall come to pass. I mean, what can you do? You just do your job.
Glenn in Florida, thank you very much for that call. Yeah. Remember, caller number 5 gets a free download of the Pro Wrestling Report iTunes app at the iTunes Store. Exclusive content coming soon to that application, and you can listen live and be a part of the Pro Wrestling Report via that app on iTunes. Let's go to Anthony now in California. You're live.
Hey there, guys.
Anthony.
Glad to see that. Damien, you recovered from Mardi Gras?
Oh, let me just tell you.
His eyes are still bloodshot.
No.
And he's missing pieces of his person.
And he lost his wallet.
You had a hand, didn't you?
And a watch.
Mardi Gras, I jobbed to Mardi Gras. Let's just say that.
I was just saying about Raw. You guys saying that there might be was the possibility of the match between Vince and Batista versus Cena and Brett. Well, I'm kind of glad they're not going with that way, but I heard they might actually do a match where it's that tag, but it's for the world title, and let Brett win it.
That's been circulating on the sheets, including a story at pwrshow.com. They can go, and that's what's good about it. And, Frank, I don't want to steal your thunder because you said it last night as we were watching Elimination Chamber. What was good about going into WrestleMania this year? There's so much that you just don't know what's going to happen, and they can go in so many different directions with it, so it's going to keep you engaged and tuned in, and that's a good thing. They can do that. They can do the singles match between Brett and Vince. They have a lot of different ways they can go. Keep in mind, the Hart Dynasty has not been involved in this at all, and I don't get that. That doesn't make much sense to me.
I heard someone made an idea saying that since Brett's injured, that Vince says, yeah, I'll feature Brett at WrestleMania. Then Brett goes there with his crutches. Then right before the match starts, he drops and says, I fooled you. And then just basically beats Vince up in a minute.
Wow.
I got a copy of that, too.
Thanks for that call, Matt. I'm sorry, Anthony, out in California, rather. A lot of different ways they can go with this. But, I think people are finally into the Bret Hart storyline. I was questioning whether or not he was still relevant coming into this whole thing, but I think people are actually bought in now, and they were able to YouTube the stuff from 12 years ago and figure out what happened, and now they get it. We're going to continue in the phone zone, and remember the fifth caller gets a free download of the PWR iTunes app, and this is Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, the award-winning Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Overreact with Homer, weekdays at 2 on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. We're live Monday, February 21st, 2010. Damian Nelson sitting alongside the Skull Crusher, Rossi Brown. Hi. The Kaz. And the man they call me that. Dave Hero still under protest. So I've been working the phones trying to get him here during each break, and he is that upset that both Sheamus and Gail Kim lost last night. That on top of that whole controversy with the Pope of a couple of weeks ago, he is under protest. So we hope to have David Hero back here, maybe even during this show or even next week, and we'll just try to sew that all up.
He's out there. He's sitting Indian style. He's pouting.
Yeah. On Wisconsin Avenue?
Yeah, he's just sitting on
He's waiting for the mall to open, huh? We're going to continue in the phone zone. Remember, caller 5 gets a free iTunes app at the iTunes store, and you can go to pwrshow.com to find out how you can get your hands on that same application. The number, 276-ESPN or 1-800-990-ESPN. Let's now go down to Texas. Christian, not the Christian who's on Raw again, but Christian from Texas. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey, I just want to know, due to the fact that Triple H was not shown at Raw at all, do you have any clue of what he's going to do at WrestleMania, or is he going to be in it at all?
Oh. That was for you, Kaz.
Oh. Well, the only thing they could do right now is to work with Sheamus. That kind of fits.
It's the same.
And they'll do that. They have to do that next week. You can't, 2 weeks to set it up. So it was rare that he wasn't there, but you have to look at his career. He's done so much, and eventually Vince just says to him, "Hey, just let's get some of the younger guys there."
Honestly, he probably was involved in some sort of appearance somewhere, or had to do something with something business-wise.
Change poopy diapers, whatever he's doing.
Call it what you will.
He can take a day off.
Thank you for that call, Kristen from Texas. Let's go now on to Matt in Seattle, who is the winner of our free download of the iTunes app for PWR. And congratulations, Matt in Seattle. And you're also live here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Woo!
Winner, shrimp dinner.
Chicken dinner.
That's right, it's chicken dinner, Nelson. Chicken dinner.
Trying to make it my own.
All right, guys, I just got a question and a comment for you. My first question is, with the likelihood of The Undertaker's streak not coming to an end this year at WrestleMania, are we going to see Shawn Michaels get inducted into the Hall of Fame?
This year?
Yeah, I mean...
No.
Have they ever inducted an active wrestler?
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, yeah, that's probably stuff like
he
that.
retired. Well,
No.
Jerry Lawler count?
Jerry Lawler's
only
active.
when they go to Memphis.
So, no, it won't be this year. I wouldn't have a problem next year. No, I'm talking about Michaels.
They could induct him this year. Why not?
No,
it won't happen.
There's the hint of retirement.
You'll need
won't
Shawn
happen.
Michaels in 3 years when the buy rates are down.
When he got his smile back.
He'll come back and be the commissioner.
You don't do that when you don't need him right now.
Mess up a promo at a WrestleMania with Vince. Matt, good question. Thank you very much for calling, and enjoy the Pro Wrestling Report iTunes application. And thank you to all of you who joined us in the phone zone. Remember, if you weren't able to get in, you can go ahead and engage in conversation at the Pro Wrestling Report website. That's www.pwrshow.com, www.pwrshow.com. We're also on Twitter. You can follow us. Our Twitter name is PWR Show. And Frank, the Kaz, here with us for hour 2 tonight.
Also, Frank tweets. You forgot to mention that. Frank does tweet.
Coming up next week, Monday.
Tweet with no apostrophe.
Coming up next week, Monday, a brand new show for the Pro Wrestling Report entitled The Monday Night Wars. It's Frank Cosentino with a news report, a monthly news report on what's going on in the world of WWE and TNA. And I tell you what, folks, you don't want to miss this coming Mondays to PWRshow.com on demand starting next week. The Monday Night Wars. Frank Cosentino, the Cos.
And they won't need Dick Cheney or anything like that.
He's hospitalized again, you know.
For what?
He's having some heart problems. He's had 4 heart attacks, quadruple bypass,
You mean
blah,
he has
blah, blah.
one?
Well.
You know, Dick did call. He said he wanted to go.
Demo.
No, he did call and said he wanted to know if he wanted to go hunting.
I think him and Bobby Knight will go hunt together.
This week in the history books, as we go to this segment called the History Book, on February 21st, 1985, David Schultz strikes John Stossel on 2020. Stossel subsequently becomes $280,000 richer, courtesy of WWE. In February 16th of 2006, Johnny Grunge, one half of Public Enemy, passed away.
That damn Public Enemy.
Hey, he was a cool cat.
February 15th, 2007 was actually the first time WWE Raw and TNA Impact went head-to-head. It was when Raw had been displaced to a Thursday, Raw scoring a 3.06 that night, and TNA Impact scoring a 0.6 rating. Obviously, their second showing head-to-head was a little better, and we'll see what happens come March 8th. And finally, in the history book on February 22nd, 2008, WWE announces that SmackDown is going to move to My Network TV after the CW tries to become Lifetime on Network TV. Now some hot news, boys. And things are hot in the kitchen for Ric Flair. Uh-oh. Ric Flair's wife was arrested the other night for battery. Battery with no weapons. She used her hands, maybe slapped him a couple times or whatever.
I mean,
she's since been released.
Luger fought this man for 5 years and he couldn't
Wipe just one shot, that's it.
Well, he couldn't hit back.
Come on,
you hit back, you're the one going to jail.
Here's the thing. Ric Flair did the job for her. I mean, he's just, I'll go down. That's fine. It'll be okay.
The turmoil in Ric Flair's life has been epic over the last few years. He got arrested a couple of years ago for getting into a fight with the son-in-law or the fiance or something like that. Been married 28 times. I think him and Larry King are battling for who can be married more. And now this. When are things going to get good for Ric Flair?
When Ric Flair makes it a better decision in his life.
Bro, I mean, I'm not one to judge, so I can't judge. But, yeah, just sit down and chill for a minute. Just chill. You've done a lot in your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
You
worth.
have to buy a drink.
I mean, we're all wrestlers, and we do what we do and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But at least we know what we do amongst each other. Don't let it get
Don't let it get out.
Now.
Don't let it get out is what you're saying.
Chill, man. Enjoy your life. I mean, yeah, women drive you nuts, and we all know this. And
who are you telling?
Stop marrying them.
TNA is going to release a DVD focusing on the Motor City Machine Guns and Beer Money Incorporated. We saw both those teams on Impact last week, and we'll talk more about Impact later. But this is interesting. The DVD that TNA did, the Best of 2009, getting rave reviews. I have not seen it yet, but everything I've seen about it has had people saying it was one of the best projects that TNA has put together. Now to do a DVD on two tag teams that many say they are not focusing enough on is a bit surprising. Gentlemen, your thoughts, starting with you, Mita.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that, here they're putting out a DVD. You would think a company would start promoting these guys weeks before the DVD is coming out, to kind of hype the DVD. And, oh, you know what? We got that DVD coming out. We should probably get the guys on TV this week.
Yeah, cue marketing for the company here. I mean,
and who's in charge of it? Don West now?
It'll be one of Don West's daily deals.
I mean, and it's not. I mean, they're talented guys. Do they deserve a DVD? Yeah.
What?
You got to market it.
You have to market it. Everybody deserves a DVD, but you have to market it. I mean, we're talking about it because, obviously we had to look hard to find it, but John Q. Public, come on.
Or as Al told me, it's Mr. and Mrs. Walmart.
Yeah. Just for the sake of the DVD, push the guys for 2 weeks.
At least.
Right, not just throw them on TV. Oh, yeah, that's right. We got to promote that project there. And by the way, everybody does deserve a DVD. The Frank Cosentino DVD Best Hits from PWR is going to be available on his Facebook fan page. Go ahead and go there. Make sure you apply.
10 seconds long.
No, it's all your best hits, not the worst ones.
Okay, 9 seconds long.
Anyway, continuing along in the hot news, WWE Raw is going to go 3 hours again on April 26th. It's going to be airing 1 hour early, and there are rumors that is the night that they will be bringing back the draft. Now, we saw tonight Yoshitatsu and Christian on Raw, so seemingly they're just going to sort of spill out the ECW stars.
Well, they also did mention during that commentary, I don't know if you caught that, that was a bathroom break for you, but I don't know if you caught that. Cole did mention Christian has been signed to Raw. Christian is officially on Raw.
Who signed him?
The Raw guest host of the week.
She was playing some foolish games.
Okay.
You get that, Frank? She was playing some foolish games.
I got it.
Tearing me apart. Is it the tooth?
Yeah, come on, man.
WWE
well, they
has
hit the right
changed.
demographic, didn't they, tonight?
Remember, the Monday Night Wars with the Cause coming Monday to PWRshow.com. WWE changed the names of some more pay-per-views, and here's the fact. They've seen success with the gimmick names of the pay-per-views. They saw success with everything but bragging rights. Hell in a Cell, everything else they changed last year, while people may not have liked it, including the announcement that the Survivor Series is going to be rebranded. Here are some of the names that we can announce that WWE has changed so far. Coming in May, Backlash is no more, as the new pay-per-view name will be Wild Card.
Now, are you talking about May or are you talking about April? Because April is when Backlash was. Did they move that up? Is that what happened with that?
Backlash has been in both April and May. It depends on how the calendar falls. This one's going to be in May.
Because we've talked about that before. As we just mentioned, Frank said it's about 3 weeks after WrestleMania that they usually turn around Backlash right away, and Backlash, all that was the Backlash of WrestleMania.
Unless they're moving it just 2 weeks later and make
Possible.
it 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Fatal 4-Way is going to be the June pay-per-view, I believe, replacing the Bash.
Correctamundo.
Fatal 4-Way. Kaz, what do you think about that?
Well, automatically it means 4 wrestlers doing something, but it could be 4 tag teams. It'd be an 8-teamer.
It could also mean that you have, like, I don't know, Scorpion and Sub-Zero doing fatality.
Get over here now.
And coming up in July, Money in the Bank. Interesting because they had the first Money in the Bank qualifying matchup today, and Christian obviously advancing in that tournament, meaning we're going to have Money in the Bank at WrestleMania and then a night geared towards Money in the Bank just a couple of months later in July. Is this overusing that gimmick, Rashi?
Yes.
So they could possibly have 2 Money in the Bank winners running around out there.
And they can face each other at the Fatal 4-Way.
Do they keep track of what they're doing, man? Honest.
I mean, doling out as far as who's got a title shot for this.
Naming pay-per-views well, let's have a briefcase pay-per-view, and then now the guy with the Money in the Bank, he's running around with a briefcase, and now he's got a briefcase. So let's have a briefcase match.
I know what's really happening unfortunately, is even though it's been said that TNA is trying to copy some of what WWE has done, WWE is seeing what's been working in TNA, and now they're going along with that. Look at their Feast or Fired matches. That was 4 different cases, 4 different briefcases that had different title shots. Well, 3 title shots and 1 fired. So they're gonna try to do another Money in the Bank.
Speaking of Money in the Bank, we have a question on Twitter. Remember, our Twitter name is PWR Show. You can follow us there for all the hot news. The Ain't Saint is the username. He says, do you guys think WWE will throw Sheamus into Money in the Bank since it's Cena versus Batista for the WWE title?
I think they could. Or maybe, do they dare throw Triple H in the Money in the Bank?
Oh, no.
That
just made me sick.
Well, I don't know. They got to figure out something for the guy.
I think you hit it. It has to be Sheamus and Triple H WrestleMania. Sheamus, he has to do something nasty to Triple H in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. The conversation continues in the chatmosphere at PWRshow.com. This is the #1 professional wrestling radio program, the Pro Wrestling Report, on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Listen to NASCAR all season long on your home for NASCAR, 540 ESPN.
Everybody's been asking what happened to that Brian Knobs interview from a couple of weeks back. You know, where I apparently sold my soul and changed my tune when he was on.
Yeah, and it conveniently disappeared.
Because I didn't do it the week before. No, something happened.
Conveniently.
Don't know what, but all the more reason to get that app, tune in live, be a part of the show as we broadcast, because you can be part of the phone zone and be one of the callers and interact with us and ask your questions. As a matter of fact, let's go out to Boston, one of my favorite cities. Bowman, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Bowman.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
I didn't get a chance to see where I was at a particular party of a bachelor variety earlier today.
Well, you know,
calling.
If Dave Hero were here, he would ask if you sent the email to pwrshow.com to be the lucky guest at Meathead's bachelor party. I didn't approve it, but no, that's what Dave would ask you.
What did you think of Elimination Chamber, Bowman?
I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I didn't get to see all of it. I saw bits and pieces of it. I'm still not a fan of Batista kind of coming in and winning the title, because that means we have to watch him work, and that's just not fun. I feel like they could have ran that same storyline that they're going to do with Sheamus and actually get somebody young over. Same thing, could have just ran with it. Him and John Cena have a longer storyline going right now than Batista does anyway.
Yeah, but do you not agree that Batista and Cena are two more marketable names for WWE?
Oh, what they're doing is they're trying to make up for they saw when you had these two guys face each other at SummerSlam, and they saw that it was big, and they're just trying to make it up at WrestleMania.
All right. Yeah.
And we know how you feel about Batista. It's been clear every time he's talked on the show. But again, we've talked about it on the show here that there's some new interest in Batista. Again, he's doing less in the ring, doing less outside the ring. He's talking less on the mic. Makes me like him a little bit more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I think that this is a smart move by WWE to what they're trying to do is they're trying to get Batista with the heel.
Lap it up, flip it, rub it down.
And then the best way to do that is to put him against the top babyface, and that's John Cena.
Yeah.
All right, Bowman. Good perspective as usual. Thank you for calling in, and hopefully you're going back to that party, huh? People even take a break from their partying to be a part of the Pro Wrestling Report.
Except for Dave Hero.
Oh, he's not partying.
He must be changing
the
cooler.
It's a pity party.
No,
exactly.
He is
out
there.
No,
he is hot about it. He told me, and he's protesting. So, got to start showing some love for DH out there in the PWR universe and the IWC.
I think he's playing harmonica now out there.
Continuing the hot news, WWE diva Savannah is going to be appearing topless in a movie.
Whoa.
The movie titled Ratko.
What is it called?
Ratko, the Dictator's Son. Canadian comedy.
There you go.
Well, isn't that a joke in itself because it's Canadian and they think it's a comedy?
I am just reading this statement, this news item as prepared. WWE, who is PG, this was done all before she was with WWE. It takes these straight to DVD films some time to get out. It is not an adult movie. It is simply a movie where she will appear topless. You know, the first Friday the 13th, I think there were 3 topless scenes in that one.
So can children watch that?
Friday the 13th, the first one?
Yeah, why not?
Sure.
Okay.
Can children watch The Hangover? You think it's a good idea?
No.
No.
What's the minimum wage?
And
minimum age?
Whose children?
I'm not saying.
18.
Yeah, somebody else's children.
Yeah.
Other people's children?
Yeah.
I would go 16 and over for an R-rated movie.
TNA Impact last week scores a 1.2 rating with 1.6 million viewers. WWE Raw scoring a 3.4 rating last week. Let's talk about Impact as it was. And the big news story to come out of Impact was the taped yet not aired controversial angle or segment between Orlando Jordan and his new male and female companion.
Well, they're shown because he walked to the
they're
ring with
shown,
them.
but there's more that happened
right.
that was not aired.
Exactly. They're shown. The girl was very attractive.
She is Santana G, a female worker.
Go ahead.
All right, I've been waiting for this. All right.
Are you excited?
Yeah. All right, there's a reason why it hasn't aired yet, and they're going to wait until it's live when they're going head-to-head with Raw. Because if you haven't known, Eric Bischoff book is Controversy Creates Cash.
I've read it.
This is the most controversial thing that's going to get the mainstream publicity everywhere. Everybody's going to talk about this. Bischoff's going to stand behind this angle like it's his, because it will be his, and he will fight this, and it will succeed. I guarantee you people will pay attention. From every aspect of life, they will tune in to TNA to see what the hell is going on.
This is their angle to do it. This is the one that's going to put them on the map. The catch is, it has to work.
It does.
Now, Bischoff is good at that. He's got a good track record when it comes to that stuff. But, boy, if it doesn't, what else can they do at that point?
Publicity is publicity. It
never been done.
If it falls on deaf ears, I'd be shocked.
Here's what didn't air. With the male valet that Orlando Jordan brought to the ring with him, there was apparently an embrace. Some say a kiss. Some say it wasn't. That was part of the entrance, and that was not aired on Impact last week.
It made Damien sick right there. It actually just made him sick.
No, not at all. No, hey, I'm tolerant. And it's no secret. It's no secret Orlando Jordan's situation. We're not going to talk about that here. It's his personal life.
That's the whole point of this.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'll defend Bischoff with that, but in my personal preference, what the hell does this have to do with wrestling? We don't care, man. If you knew how many people were homosexual or bisexual in sports or in life in your neighborhood, you'd probably be like, wow, there's that many. It's not a big deal, and it's not the issue for a sporting event.
Right.
But isn't it, though, Rashi, isn't it an issue with the fans and the viewers because it is taboo, it is off limits.
It's taboo in America.
It's not something they want to be a part of.
But what does that have to do with a supposed athletic competition between two athletes?
It's all psychological.
It's
psychological. And here's how it can work. Again, because we know of the supposed issue or supposed style that Orlando lives. That's the only way it would work if it were legitimate. If it were something
Billy
that
and
would
Chuck work.
But what does it matter?
But the thing with Billy and Chuck was that they treated it with respect.
But what
and
does
it was
that
given,
matter?
Whoa, let me finish. They treated it with respect. Now, the gay community came out and said they liked the way Billy and Chuck treated each other. Did they not?
I have no idea.
I don't know anybody.
Okay, they did. It was talked about. It was
what do you mean
brought
they?
up.
You mean you?
Hey, I'm gay.
That's Bill Johnson line will
Hey,
never
man,
go.
you line him up, I knock him down.
Once again.
I agree with you,
No,
Rashi.
I wasn't done. I just got cut off by
you were
some
done.
crass remark.
I
No,
don't
wasn't.
agree. I agree with you that it is controversial, but here's the thing. I don't think anything like this has ever been done. You've heard JR make comments about certain people when they're in the ring. He did his rear end work, guys. Stuff like that.
You're talking about the Pat Patterson
but you've
stuff.
you've never seen it so deliberately presented as they were going to do, but chose not to for whatever reason. And as you say, maybe March 8th is
It's
the
the
day.
holdout. Yeah.
Has Taz not made it so obvious? Because he shot the other week when OJ was coming out of the ring, and he said, I was at a club with OJ once, and that
Now,
like I said, I
that's
think
cutting it a little close.
no, like I said, the only thing that's going to make it work is this being legitimate. Him treating it like it wasn't some joke, like it wasn't some special act. That's what'll make it work.
You have to remember he wanted to do this angle in WWE when he was there.
And that's why he's not in WWE.
No, that's not exactly why, but
but
had something to do with it. Well, controversial to say the least. But you know what? Guess who we just talked about for 5 minutes?
Exactly.
Orlando Jordan. That's the point of it.
Breaking some shakes his head.
Again, like I'm going to say, Bischoff has a track record of taking this and making it work.
Yeah.
And this is it's really out on the table.
This is his Goldberg or NWO. There's nothing else.
To start with, yeah.
There's nothing else there right now that they can make an impact on day one of
Flair
live
and Hogan,
TV.
Flair and Hogan wrestling.
No, you've seen that.
We have.
Impact where your jaw drops and you're like,
I can't believe I just
for real?
Seen.
Yeah.
And people start talking about it, dominoes, and then I got to watch.
This is that.
We'll see.
The Pope and AJ Styles had a bit of a conversation on Impact last week. lots of mixed opinions out there about that conversation. Meathead, your thoughts on the Pope coming out and receiving adulation from the fans and then being interrupted by the duo of Ric Flair and AJ Styles?
The only thing I had a problem with is I thought the censors should have been working a little bit harder when Pope was talking and referring to Mr. Flair.
What did he refer to, man?
Oh, as a Richard. As a Richard.
All about context.
Well,
that's how they got away with it.
Okay, again, and I know it's all about context.
That's his name for short.
I understand that, but again, when we've had this problem on this very program, even though it's about context, it's still a word, and it still should have been dropped. It still should have been censored.
Kaz, your thoughts on the actual interaction between the two, Ric Flair and AJ Styles and the Pope? And I know that's 3 people.
It is 3.
Pope was pimping, much to Dave Hero's chagrin.
I'm waiting for, people are saying how well Ric Flair is going to work with the younger talent there. For me, I'm not sold on it yet with what's going on with Ric. And we'll see what.
Are you buying AJ Styles in this role?
No.
And Ross, you get ready to answer it as well.
Not yet. Not me. Not yet.
He's got blonde tips.
Doesn't fit him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rashi Brown.
You know him.
I love AJ Styles, and I love this character. It doesn't fit him, but it's still entertaining. I love it because you really have to try, but you can put AJ Styles into Ric Flair's shoes 25 years ago when he's doing the promos in the suits and he's over the top and it's too much and it's so great because it's too much. And now we got the filthy little Uncle Ric Flair, he's hanging around. He just wants the leftovers. It's great. I love it. I wish you could just put a different head on AJ to fit the character. I mean, he's doing it the right way. He just doesn't have that.
Because we're looking at AJ. We're looking at AJ, and we still see the Grand Slam champion in TNA.
Right.
The only man that's won every belt in TNA.
Yeah. But I love it. I like it.
Yeah, it's entertaining to me too. Like I said, the only thing I had a problem with was they didn't censor what Pope called Flair.
But they do that on accident sometimes,
Just like I'm told I do things on accident too.
Like we've beef laying everywhere.
I'm trying to buy into this Styles Flair thing, but how many years have we had good old boy AJ Styles pushed down our throats, and now we're to believe that over a 2 weeks period of time he's being transitioned into this junior Ric Flair? I agree, Rashi. AJ's a tremendous talent. We've had AJ on this program. It's a tough sell, given what he's been for the last several years.
Well, maybe they're thinking this will be a new audience.
Absolutely. Good point.
So we're going to cater to the new audience.
Good point.
You people that watch AJ for the last 5-6 years, too bad. This is a new AJ. Get used to it, and we're moving forward. And maybe that's the deal.
Frank, what's the show right before PTI?
Oh, jeez, I don't know.
But it's the one where you get points for making it.
Yeah.
Round the horn. Rashi, you would have definitely made it to the next round on that right there.
Oh, great.
Thanks, Fish.
Do you have the ratings numbers there? What do you know the difference since they started January 1st to now? Has it been about 200,000, 300,000 more people?
No. They've settled in at around a 1.2, about 1.7 million viewers. The problem, though, with their ratings is it's been going down. They start off higher than they've been ending with. Now, there have been, on some weeks, some reasons for that, some NBA games, Olympics and whatnot, but WWE always goes up as the show progresses.
Well, it's also
TNA,
built up to WrestleMania, where I think there's
a trend within the 2 hours. I'm talking, not over weeks, within the 2 hours.
It doesn't flow correctly yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's final 2 segments for the last couple of weeks were its lowest rated segments of the night.
Yeah, and they felt that way. It's like I was watching them, like, all right, cool, let's watch the next segment and then Hogan came out,
and 2 commercials usually are in that final segment, by the way.
And the final segment this week was Nash and Eric Young confronting Hall.
But they built that all night. So I give them credit for building it, but
they built it,
clearly fans didn't care.
Right, exactly.
We're going to take a time out. The conversation continues in the Champosphere at PWRshow.com. This is the #1 professional wrestling radio program, the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Frank's over there dancing to the theme music of Jake the Snake Roberts.
For some
what
reason,
was his wife's name that was on Ravishing Rick Rude's trunk?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. What a great angle that was.
Yes, it was.
That went for like 2 years.
It was so great.
It was Rick didn't buy any new tights.
It felt so genuine. And granted, I guess we were more of Marks back then. But
Yeah.
Rashi, of course, you're not a Mark. We are.
No, I was.
But it was just. You think about, I talked about Kane and Taker earlier. You just think about some of the great angles. Remember Funk and Flair from 89-90?
And they build them for 3
Absolutely.
4 months.
When Ric Flair got powerbombed by Terry Funk through that table on Clash of Champions, I think it was.
The greatest double switch ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Congratulations. Tears in my eyes. I just hated Flair. Now I'm crying because his neck's broken and I won't see him wrestle.
Neck brace for the next 12 months.
And the only thing I can think of that's happened recently is the Jericho-Malenko build. Remember when Jericho was building?
I don't even remember that.
Remember when Jericho was building up? Malenko had just got knocked out in injury, even though he was over, wrestling in Japan. Jericho built this up for 3 months. Just talked about his dead dad. He talked about
Malenko.
Boris Malenko.
Yeah,
Remember, he kept on over and over and over.
But it didn't remind me of that. Sorry.
But
moving right along. Let's continue talking about TNA Impact from last night.
Man, being me.
We're live February 22nd, 2010. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Ken Anderson and Kurt Angle had a bit of an exchange on Impact last week. Kurt Angle explaining why the dog tags that he wear were so significant to him. Had good reasoning. Anderson comes out and calls TNA Total Nonstop Anderson, which had long been called Total Nonstop Angle. These two are headed towards a substantial program down the road, and I, for one, am interested.
It's like fun to me. Kenny gets to be himself a little bit more, expand his horizons. Kurt, the great worker that he is. Yeah, man, the possibilities are endless here.
That's a perfect match, those two guys, and that could go for a long time. And Anderson, I think that was one of the people that wrestlers that he wanted to go with right away. Might as well give it a shot while he's still with us. The way that he puts everything out.
Again, you could always joke about the fact that he was injury prone or whatever, but yeah, that's right. I mean, you've got two top guys in the company right now, and Anderson just got in there, and he is the top guy in the company
right away.
It made me wonder though when he was doing his attack on Kurt, why the mic was still swinging and swinging. And I'm like, normally they pull it up when it's time for him to do something physical, but obviously it came into play at the end, and he had to, kind of jaw in his ear right at the end there.
I'm very intrigued by this, and I think it's interesting to point out the people TNA are focusing on nowadays. Now, we joke about the Nasty Boys. We joke about the Orlando Jordans. We joke about the Sean Morleys and whatnot.
I don't have any jokes about the Nasties. I just don't want them on my TV.
But you need these talents to do what they're doing, which is elevate some of these other talents and to put them in big-time matches where stories can be told and that emotion can be sold. And that's what's happening specifically with the Pope, with Ken Anderson. I would even say Matt Morgan to a degree. It's some intriguing television. I will be the first to say that after January 4th, I think they took a few steps back, but they've now taken a few steps forward in their weekly television product, and it's intriguing. You want to know what's going to happen next week, and they've got a big challenge ahead of them come March 8th when they go head-to-head with Raw, where, mark my words, their ratings will go down immediately. And they will have to climb right back up. It's just natural. They have to. People are so into habit, and to retrain people to do something different, whether it be watch something different, watch at a different time, watch at a different day, they are going to go down straight away. Remember, 1995 when Nitro came on the air, they beat Raw for 3 years straight. Different situation because they had so much of a network backing, and it was at a time where the wrestling business was different. But they beat them for 3 years straight. Many would say the WWE product was substantially stronger even when they were getting beat in the latter days of the Monday Night Wars, the early Monday Night Wars, but it took Mike Tyson. It was really Mike Tyson that brought WWE back because it was that April after that WrestleMania where they finally beat, after 83 weeks of getting defeated, WCW Nitro in the ratings.
And one of the only weeks that they came back and won again was the return of Ric Flair in the confrontation with Eric Bischoff and the reformation of the Four Horsemen. That was like WCW's last gasp.
Now think about this. TNA is going to go live right in the thick of
NCAA.
That, and it's a WrestleMania build-up.
Mm-hmm.
And boy,
again, mark my words, those ratings are going to go down.
Are they going to be in the Impact Zone or whatever?
Yeah. Yep.
See, if they're going to do it live, they might as well do it like in arena.
And it's guaranteed to be in the Impact Zone because they already set up the Universal schedule.
Here's the thing, though, guys. It costs money to do this live every week now.
They have to lose money to make money.
Exactly. But how much can they lose?
I know.
That's the question. Hogan and Abyss. That whole thing was a little weird, boys.
Yeah.
Hogan, a bit of a dig towards WWE, perhaps, giving his Hall of Fame ring
Absolutely.
to Abyss.
Absolutely. I mean, it didn't end up on eBay, but it was a shot.
Yep. I got it before it hit eBay.
And the return of Kaz, which does not mean the death of the Suicide character. No.
Suicide lives.
This is funny to say. It's funny to say. Kaz is back. I'm happy to see him, but I'm also happy to see that Suicide's going to remain part of the TNA roster. He's been wrestling on some house shows. 2 sold-out house shows over the course of the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. However, the reviews of those house shows, not so good.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people are buying tickets for TNA house shows right now thinking they're going to see Hulk Hogan.
Half.
I'd buy them if I knew I wouldn't.
Their house show business just about doubled when Hogan came on board. He hasn't been to a house show as far as I know.
That's bad business. I mean, they need everybody to play their role as a team player, and it's from the top to the bottom.
You can get them once, but the goal is to get them back, and that's going to be the challenge. Yep.
Exactly.
We told you earlier that another big announcement into the WWE Hall of Fame, Mad Dog Vachon, soon to be announced.
Yeah.
As an inductee into the 2010 WWE
Well-deserved.
Hall of Fame.
Well deserved.
Rashi, as we end the show, we've got a minute remaining. Bryan Danielson is in NXT. Your thoughts, knowing Bryan as well as you do.
Well, I'm sure he's excited to move up to national TV in the spotlight. Me personally, we know he's the best in the world. Don't pretend like this man just came off of a turnip truck. He's probably the best wrestler in the company, and you're going to pretend like he's some guy that they took off of an audition? Come on, man. He's the best in the world. Do the right thing, but it's too late. We'll see him succeed in WWE, and that's it for me.
Coming up this week, special day Thursday, a brand new edition of PWR Interactive, and Friday, a brand new edition of PWR Primetime. And coming up Monday, the Cause hosts the Monday Night Wars. This has been the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you again next Monday night.